Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and the iPhone 11 is finally here. This is the new green color. There are a bunch of other colors as well, including a new purple color, and it starts at $50 less than last year. So $699, $749, and $849. That will get you 64, 128, or 256 gigabytes. This is the 128 gigabyte model. So let's go ahead and unbox it and take a look. Now the box matches depending on which phone you get. So you can see it says iPhone and it's got that mint green color, but thankfully Apple calls it green. You'll see it's the 128 gigabyte model, like I said. Let's go ahead and open it up. We'll take the box top off. This isn't quite as tight fitting as it has been in the past. So there's the phone itself. So there's plastic on the front, but not on the back. So that's kind of interesting. They've just left it undone and they've cut the box out to match the camera bump. And the camera actually looks a lot better in person than the dummy models I had earlier. This is a glossy back, but the glass around the camera is not glossy. So it's kind of a matte finish. I kind of like it, although that still does look like a face. Let's see what's in the box here. So in the box, you've got a hello guide here. You've got SIM card removal tool, little warranty card, and then you've got your Apple stickers. I really wish they match the phones, but maybe in the future they'll do that. Now we do have the 5-watt charger in this box. So the 11 comes with the 5-watt. I'm not sure why they needed to do that, but they did. And then you've got some wired ear pods that have the lightning cable on them. So those come with it if you don't have AirPods or a different set of headphones that you like. And then you've got your lightning to USB cable, like we get with everything. Let's set that aside and take a closer look at the phone itself. So here's the phone. Let's peel off the front cover. So the phone feels very much the same as last year's XR, and the XR, for comparison, you can see they look the same except for the dual cameras. And size-wise, they're identical. You can see here that the power buttons are in the same place, the volume buttons are in the same place, as well as the silent switch, and the displays are the same as well. So if we turn this on, we'll wait for it to boot up. We have stereo speakers, and they should have a little bit wider sound now. So that part may be a little bit nicer. And of course, we have a new processor in here. We have a A13 Bionic chipset with about 4 gigs of RAM on the Pro model. So we'll have to see what it is on this model. Now, I'll set this up in just a moment, but this display isn't any different than last year's. So it's still the 6.1-inch Liquid Retina display, 1792 by 828, with a pixel resolution of 326 pixels per inch. That's the same as the iPhone 8. So the pixel density is the same, and most people don't really notice a difference with this display. Let's go ahead and set it up. So we'll wait for the other phone. Now you have to put in the passcode from the other phone. Now I will say that the bezels on this phone do look large, just like they did with the XR. You usually get used to this pretty quickly, especially if you have a case on your phone, because the case normally comes over the side slightly. So it's not really a problem, but for some people it may annoy you if you're coming from, say, an iPhone 10, for example. So I'll set up Face ID. Face ID is complete. I'll transfer data directly from my XR to this one. Now the rear cameras get a pretty big update this year. They have dual 12 megapixel sensors that are all new. And then we have an ultra wide f2.4 and a wide f1.8. We also have the capability for 4K 60p with extended dynamic range. We could only do that at 30p last year. The front-facing camera gets an equally large upgrade with a 12 megapixel sensor, f2.2 lens, which is a little bit wider. It can also record in 4K 60, but also gets that extended dynamic range only up to 30 frames per second. Now you can see it looks just like a XR. It has haptic touch. The screen is good for most people. And honestly, this is the phone most people should get. I do like how they've moved the Apple logo to the center. Of course, you have the new cameras, and the new cameras are a pretty big deal. They should be much better If we swing it around here, you'll see there's a photo. Here's portrait mode. And we should have 4K video recording as well from the front camera. Let me go back to the rear camera. And we'll go back to the rear camera here. And if I zoom out, now we have an ultra wide, and you can see the 11 Pro and Pro Max there. And I'll have a separate video for that. But you'll see, it looks pretty good. I mean, I captured a lot of what's in the background here. There's my iMac Pro on the stand with the keyboard. And the detail is okay. It's not super bright light in here. It's not outdoors, but it's decent light for video, of course. And again, we've got that new high key light mono. If you haven't seen that, it's actually removing the camera. You'll see the camera flashing in and out of there. It's removing the camera and making everything white in the background. So that's kind of interesting. Now, as far as wallpaper, we do have some new wallpaper. If we go into choose new wallpaper, we've got some new live wallpaper. So people were concerned we wouldn't have live wallpaper. Let's go into this one. And it says press on the screen to see it animate. So it's live wallpaper. We have a few new ones, and they match all of the different phones. So if you have the green or you have the new purple, again, it's live wallpaper. So you still get that with the haptics as well. So those are new. Oh, and they have light and dark mode versions. That's what they're showing here. So if you're not familiar with that, if you have dark mode turned on, they'll look a little bit different. So press and hold. It's not working now. There we go. So we'll turn dark mode on, and you'll see there's the dark version of the wallpaper. So not a ton new with this phone. A faster processor, which is significant. You do get an hour extra battery, and also you get IP68 certification this time, not just 67. So it should be more water resistant as well. Although Apple never really covers water damage, so just beware if you're concerned about that. Now, one of the other new things we should have is faster Face ID, and it actually seems pretty fast. Let's try it next to the XR and see what we've got. I've got them both off. Let's tap the screen. And there you go. It was faster that time. Let's try it one more time. And it was faster this time on the XR. That's because I think I'm off to the side. It should have better viewing angles for the Face ID so that you can use it at maybe a lower angle, but you can't use it on the table. So let's try one more time. And it's a little bit faster. Some of that's due to iOS 13. Some of that's due to the new Face ID update that they've done. Now, as far as speed improvements, it's going to be hard to tell that. Everything on a new iPhone is going to be smooth for the most part. You'll see it stuttered there a little bit, but I'm installing a ton of apps and background information, so it's going to take a while to determine whether or not it's super fast. Now, it does seem to have 4 gigabytes of RAM, according to Geekbench, so there is that, which is fine for iOS. It shouldn't be a problem, but some people are going to point that out. I really don't think it's a big deal. The Pros have this as well as the larger iPad Pro devices. So 4 gigs of RAM on iOS never has been a problem and should be fine. But again, it will take a few days or so to know that for sure. Now, if we go into settings, let's go to the camera. Find it down here, and let's see what it looks like. We've got record video at 4K 60. It's going to do that by default. And then slow-mo, we've got 1080p at 240 frames per second. So it's pretty good. I wish they'd move these settings into the camera app itself. It's kind of a pain to go out and then come back. But let's see how good it is. I'll end the video using the camera from the iPhone 11. That's it for the iPhone 11 unboxing. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. How does this video look compared to the video that I had at the beginning of the video, which was actually recorded with a Panasonic S1. So that's a pretty high-end camera versus what we have here. So they may or may not be comparable. I'm not sure until I see them on a bigger screen. Also, if you'd like to get your hands on the wallpaper, I've transferred from my XR over to the 11. Of course, I'll link it in the description as I always do. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell if you'd like to see more of these videos as soon as they're released. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.